Hey guys, Trent247 here. I've created this video to help people looking to get into mastering the duo method for Olm in the Chambers of Xeric. This guide is intended for players with at least 50 raids 1 kill count, though if you are duoing with less than that already, this guide will help you achieve more reliable kills. This guide is not intended for very experienced duo raiders. The best method for those players is the solo method, where you and your duo's actions are synced up. You can find out how to perform the solo method in Woox's or Sync's solo raid guides. This method, though, is more than suitable for duo players looking to do no preps, or scaled raids such as 2+1 or 2+2s with prep. This method showcases a reliable way to skip Flame War during the hand phases. It avoids all specials when attacking the mage hand, and allows one player to skip all damage when attacking the melee hand. There are two roles to the duo method, the runner and the melee hand major. The runner runs the head, but not in the typical sense you see in trios. The runner should bring a stam pot in if they plan to skip the damage in the melee hand. If you are designated as the runner, make sure you bring 2 full stamina pots to the raid, or 1 stamina pot, and only use 2 doses during the raid and 2 doses for Olm. For 2+1s, I typically sip a prayer enhance, drop it and bring in 4 revitalization potions, an overload plus, and bruise for the rest. For 2+2s, however, I bring in 4 revites and a prayer enhance that I later drop to my duo partner after the 3rd sip. The first thing all learners should do is mark these 6 tiles. These tiles show where to avoid damage when Olm is looking in a certain direction. I'm not going to go into too much detail with that since Woox and Sync have covered that extensively in their guide. The melee hand major should always stand on these 2 tiles. The runner needs to stand on these 2 tiles when Olm is facing the melee hand major to avoid being hit by Olm's attacks, as you can see in this clip. Let's start with the basics. Olm at any time can do one of 4 things. Olm's basic attack includes his standard mage or range hits. The Flame Wall, the Burn, the Falling Crystals, the Crystal Bombs, the Acid Spray, or the Targeted Acid Attack are all classified as basic attacks. That is, if you're going to tank a basic attack at any time, you have a chance to be hit by any of the above, if Olm is able to in that phase. The second movement Olm can do is a special attack. In phases 1 and 2, these are the Crystal Spikes, the Lightning Bolts, and the Player Teleports. In the third phase, it's all of those, as well as the healing phase. Another action Olm can do is turn the head. Turning the head is what this method is based on. The last thing Olm can do is nothing, a non-action. So the way Olm cycles through these types of attacks are shown on screen. It goes in order from top to bottom and then loops back. The most essential part of this guide is understanding what part of the cycle Olm is currently in. Try to match Olm's actions on screen to the part of the cycle the yellow arrow is pointing to. If Olm fires the basic attack, it is impossible to know whether he is on the first or third attack. The move that follows will reveal what part of the cycle you are currently on. For the fourth move, Olm will only use an attack if it didn't attack on the third move. That is, if you turn the head when it was supposed to do the third attack, the next attack will be a basic attack. If you tank the third hit, Olm's fourth move will be nothing. He will just stare at the player. The basic concept of the duo method is to turn the head towards the melee hand major on the second move to force Olm to skip the specials. As you can see in the clip, the runner tanks the first basic attack in the cycle. The runner then walks to the other side, turning the head, which skips the special he was about to cast. Olm then attacks the melee hand major with the third move in the cycle, which is a basic attack. Olm's fourth move is a head turn, as he turns back to the runner who is on the opposite side. The hardest part about this method is getting into the correct cycle. Sometimes Olm will cast his special attacks on the right hand side, in which case the runner needs to count which move in the cycle Olm is currently in. The goal is to keep Olm on the runner's side until he uses move 1, which is a basic attack, and then the runner is able to run across and skip move 2, which is the special attack. Since the hand was crippled from our Warhammer specs, I wasn't sure which attack cycle Olm was currently on, since he cannot use the special if the hand is crippled. So I ran the head as normal until the hand uncrippled, and then waited for a special on my side. Once the spikes appeared, I knew I was in move 2 of the cycle. I tanked move 3, a basic attack. I also tanked move 4, which was an empty action, and then tanked move 1 before jumping across to the other side to skip move 2. I call this setting the hand on the correct cycle. This typically needs to be done at the start of every mage hand. There are many more ways the mage hand can start, but if you understand the rotation of Olm's attacks, you should be able to start anywhere on the cycle and turn it towards the melee hand major to skip specials. The melee hand major so far hasn't done much. The melee hand major has a very important responsibility to not step any closer to the middle than the marked tile. If the melee hand major steps too close even for one Olm attack, Olm may turn his head to the middle and the head will need to be set again by the runner. In the worst of cases, you will be hit by a teleport special attack, which will delay the setting of the head significantly, which increases damage taken by all members of the raid. If the melee hand major is hit by an acid attack, crystal attack, or a crystal bomb falls near the marked tile, the melee hand major must step away from Olm and delay attacking until the danger is clear. I've shown some clips of my duo partner R34 staying in his lane while managing the acid and crystal attacks. Here is a clip showing the runner running the acid attack while running the head at the same time. Since the trident and the Sanguistini staff are 4-tick weapons, you can walk for 3 ticks and attack on the 4th tick to only take 1 poison damage per trident or Sanguistini staff attack. It's possible to skip Flame Wall when running the mage hand like this. If you're the runner, you can skip the Flame Wall by stepping into the middle tile before Olm attacks you. Technically, the middle tile is local to both head turns. That is, you can be attacked in the middle tile if Olm is looking in any direction. However, if Olm is looking far to the left or right, the middle tile is outside of the Flame Wall range. Therefore, Olm will do an empty attack as shown in the clip. If you're the melee hand major, you don't necessarily have to skip the Flame Wall, but you can. All you have to do is run towards the wall 1 tick before Olm fires his would-be Flame Wall. Since you are close to the wall, Olm's Flame Wall cannot land and he will do an empty attack. This takes some getting used to, so bring waters to be safe. Once the mage hand is down, both players will start attacking the melee hand. The runner has a unique ability to skip all damage here if timed correctly. I've included this clip to the guide because I stuff up many times trying to get into the correct timing for the melee hand. Essentially, you want to stand by the melee hand's thumb and wait for Olm to do an action. And once he does that, you click the hand and your attacks are synced up perfectly for the method. In technical terms, you want to attack Olm 1 tick after he does an action. On move cycle 2 and 4, which is the special and the nothing action, you want to click on the tile shown in the clip and back on the hand to skip moves 1 and 3, the basic attacks. It's very important not to stand on the marked tile for longer than 1 tick, because then you'll be 2 ticks in front of Olm and will need to reset the timing. As you can see, my character never comes to a standstill while running to the middle tile. I usually wait for the pink tile indicator to disappear before clicking back on the hand. The way this method works with special attacks is extremely convenient. You can never be hit by spikes because you're always away when they proc. The lightning special can be dodged without doing anything different in 80% of the cases. Sometimes though, the lightning comes too quick, and you'll need to step back a tick before you attack Olm to let lightning pass through, and then run the head as normal. I've done 100 plus raids without bothering to account for this edge case, so don't feel like it's necessary to do so. The method also syncs up perfectly with the teleport proc. Make sure the person who is not running the head is on the thumb tile when the teleport procs. The teleport procs on the same tick as you whip past or a lance hit, which means the runner doesn't have to do anything differently when the teleport procs. When the teleport animation strikes, the melee hand major must be mindful that they can be burned on the basic attack before the teleport procs. It is good practice to tank a hit before running to the thumb in case it's a burn. If you are already burned, make sure you wait for the burn to activate before stepping on the thumb. 1 in every 5 raids or so, poison will somehow land on the thumb tile. This clip shows how to run the head when that's the case. If your timing is perfect, you won't miss any attacks, and will be out of Olm's attack range every time. You only take 1 tick of poison damage per attack, which is well worth it in my opinion. There is a way to run the head in the head phase that minimizes the damage taken by turning the head on every second attack. This can be done by having the melee hand major stand near the marked tile and have the runner run the head like explained earlier. The runner wants to tank a hit and run across to the duo partner's side, and then run back across to safety before Olm attacks. This way, each person tanks only 1 hit per 4 Olm moves. Flame Wall is harder to dodge in this phase for the runner since Olm looks to the middle. Warders are brought for this reason. So that's it for the basic guide. Thanks everyone for watching. Please leave a like if this taught you anything new, and leave a comment if anything was unclear. Thank you very much, and I'll see you in the next one.